Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Private Practice for School Counselors channel. I am Jenny, and what we're going to look at today is a continuation of what we looked at in the last two videos. So just for anybody who maybe has not looked at any videos on this channel before, this channel I started to try to help give information to fellow school counselors that might be interested in becoming therapists and starting your own private practice. So some of the videos like this one may be helpful to other therapists besides those who are also school counselors. And all of the videos are really meant to help folks to gain some information and help you start your own private practice. But I'm coming at it really just from informational purposes rather than as a supervisor or therapist. And then of course I'm not even trained to do anything and as far as being an attorney or an accountant or anything like that. So with all of that in mind, I do hope still that the information is helpful to you, gives you something to start with. And if it is helpful, please feel free to write comments below and let me know what's working with this so I can do more of it. Share the information with other folks, subscribe to the channel, and like it. I hope that will all be helpful for you. From here, we're going to talk today, like I said, a continuation of the last two videos. 2 videos ago, I just showed you kind of in a nutshell all the information that goes with starting your first intake session with a client. And then in the last video, what we did was looked at the free 15-minute phone consultation, what that looks like, what goes into it, and we had a mock client that I showed you, and his name was Toby. And by the end of that phone consultation, Toby said he would like to have the intake packet sent to him. So I'm going to show you today what Toby would see. And there's kind of 2 parts to what Toby would get. One part is going to be informed consent information, and I'm going to have a video, probably the one right after this, that I'm going to go through all of that information. So I'm not going to say anything more about that for now, but the other half of what Toby would get is the intake packet. And at this point in time, with my practice being just full-time, and I'm not doing school counseling anymore, I use a practice management system. But when I first started out, what I did is I paid, I think about $6 a month, and you get Google Suite, and you can have a business associate agreement with Google, so that helps to make it HIPAA compliant. And you can add other things to help with HIPAA, like encryption, and there's free resources to do that. And you can also put on more password protections on all of the things in there. So those are some ways to make it work a little better and be HIPAA compliant and then keep your overhead costs down. I was finding once I started getting more than just a handful of clients that it started to get cumbersome, and some of the workarounds that I had to use were just not really working for me. And so I switched over to a practice management system or electronic health record system. And I will show you in another video coming up some options for doing that. But for today, we're just going to show you the Google stuff. And you can imagine, just pretend that Toby got an email. And in the email, he would have some links that would be sent to him. So I'm going to put links below this video for you, and you'll see the first one is going to be the intake packet, and there's kind of what you're going to see, which is just this behind the scenes form from Google that you would be able to go through and make edits to. So this is kind of your side of it, and then when you click the eyeball here, you can get to the version that your potential clients would see. And so here I've already filled this out for Toby, so you can see I put in, for the basic information, name, today's date, client's birth date, gender, address, email, phone number, referral source, race, ethnicity, language, and because I take Medicaid, I have a question about Medicaid ID number or Social Security number so that I can look them up and verify that I'm in network with them. In the second page, it's employment and education information. Where are you employed, if you are employed, and what's your income that supports how many people. This I ask for sliding scale purposes. And then just how satisfied they are, what their level of education is, and then some questions about military service. Then general social history, where are they at with kind of their social situation and marital status, satisfaction, sexual orientation, living situation, and spiritual activities, where they were born and raised, their mother and father, and siblings and children, and then anything that they want to say beyond that. Then the general assessment is going to ask questions about what is bringing you to counseling today, what would you like to see happen as a result, and then there's a whole list of things that they might have experienced now, in the past, or never. This is to help me with risk assessment and trauma and abuse if they want to share more information. Stressors and how much things are stressing them out right now. And then strengths. Their medical and psychological history, including the name and phone number of their physician, information about just their physical health, allergies, and some of these questions are things that you may think, why would you ask that? And it's for insurance purposes. Then information about alcohol and drugs. What are they using or have used? When did they start? How much are they using now? What is the purpose for them using it? And have they had any negative consequences come up and or treatment for alcohol or drug use? And then any history of it in their family. And I'm going through this a little bit fast because I'm going to be giving you a copy of this whole form so you can look at it at your leisure. Mental health history. Has any member of your family experienced mental health issues? Have you ever been to counseling before? Have you been diagnosed with anything as far as mental health conditions go? And then what was your experience with counseling? So these kind of questions are helpful for me as I go into working with someone for the first time to know kind of what to expect and how much to maybe offer to them as far as helping to explain how the process goes. Developmental history, even for adults, it's good to have this information, especially for me doing work as attachment-based kind of work. It's definitely good to know more about their childhood. This question here, which of the following challenges were experienced during your childhood, these correlate with the ACEs. And then any problems before, during your birth, or after you were born, any developmental delays, problems you had in school. And then menstruation and pregnancy history. And then emergency information. So who can I contact if I needed to get help for you right away? Who do you give me permission to contact? You may want to also get releases of information for that. And that's it. And then we'll click submit. And now this information will go into the response. And you'll be able to see it there. And then if you wanted to make a sheet to go with it, I don't want to take too much time to go through all the details of Autocrat, but Autocrat is a free Chrome extension. And if you have it, you can go to your extensions of things like spreadsheets like this one, go to Autocrat and launch it. You can set up a way to basically mail merge or link your information that Toby has given us here to, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll show you, to this template that I'm also going to give you a copy of. So this way, instead of having to look at the form version, this is just maybe a little bit easier to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and do that behind the scenes, and then I'll come back and I'll show you actually what it ends up looking like. And that will be in a video where I'll show you how do I actually take all this information and put it together. But for this video, we're just looking at the client-facing side of it. So that takes care of the intake form that Toby would fill out. The other link that Toby would get would be questions that correlate with the assessment screeners. So these are screeners that I give to clients or potential clients in the very beginning that helps me with diagnosing what might be going on with them. And so you'll see here again, it's got something for name and date of birth, Medicaid number if they have one, today's date. And then in the past 2 weeks, how much or how often have you been bothered by the following problems, little interest or pleasure in doing these things? And basically, all of the questions that I have here correlate to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual Adult Symptom Screener. And they also have symptom screeners for parents to fill out for children and adolescents to fill out. So you can look there, but it's a helpful tool that I like to use to help me with differential diagnosis. And I will go through more videos to show more about a lot of this stuff, but I just wanted you to see kind of what it was. And then the WHODAS is something that goes through more health conditions. When you're doing your diagnoses, you want to know how much of whatever the problems are affecting someone's functioning and their daily living capacity. And so the WHODAS helps with that. What are the kind of the basic things that people are needing to do in their life, and how much are the difficulties that the potential client is having causing problems for them to be able to do those life activities. So that's what the WHODAS is measuring. And then whether or not they do work is going to, with this form I have it set up where it goes to a different place depending. So if we say yes, then it's going to ask some questions about that. If we say no, it'll skip over that. And then we get to the short answers. This is the last part, I believe. Toby would submit that. And then, just as I showed you before, you can make merges with Autocrat, and then you'll be able to show information in a form that's a bit easier to look at. Hopefully that gives you something to get started on, just to kind of see what would your potential client actually be getting. So that's the next step after the 15-minute free phone consultation. And you send things out, your client fills these things out, and they also get informed consent. I will go through what that looks like in the next video. And then after that, I'll show you what it looks like on the therapist end when they get everything back. And we'll go through it together, and I can show you how I organize all the information that comes back in from a potential client so that I can help get ready for that initial session that we would have. So that's basically it for today. I just wanted to show you that piece of it, and then I will see you next time where we can go through the informed consent and just keep working through this. I hope this is helpful for you and get you started in the right direction. And if this is helpful, feel free to subscribe to the channel, share the information, and like it. And thanks so much. Until next time, remember that you have options and opportunities. See you soon.